Exodus 36. So Bezalel, Oholiab, and every skilled person are to carry out everything commanded by the Lord, who has given them skill and ability to know how to perform all the work of constructing the sanctuary. Then Moses summoned Bezalel, Oholiab, and every skilled person whom the Lord had gifted, everyone whose heart stirred him to come and do the work. They received from Moses all the contributions that the Israelites had brought to carry out the service of constructing the sanctuary. Meanwhile, the people continued to bring freewill offerings morning after morning, so that all the skilled craftsmen who were doing all the work on the sanctuary left their work and said to Moses, "The people are bringing more than enough for doing the work the Lord has commanded us to do." After Moses had given an order, they sent a proclamation throughout the camp. No man or woman should make anything else as an offering for the sanctuary. So the people were restrained from bringing more, since what they already had was more than enough to perform all the work. All the skilled craftsmen among the workmen made the 10 curtains for the tabernacle. They were made of finely spun linen, as well as blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, with cherubim skillfully worked into them. Each curtain was 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. All the curtains were the same size. And he joined 5 of the curtains together, and the other 5 he joined as well. He made loops of blue material on the edge of the end curtain in the first set, and also on the end curtain in the second set. He made 50 loops on one curtain and 50 loops on the end curtain of the second set, so that the loops lined up opposite one another. He also made 50 gold clasps to join the curtains together, so that the tabernacle was a unit. He then made curtains of goat hair for the tent over the tabernacle, 11 curtains in all. Each of the 11 curtains was the same size, 30 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. He joined 5 of the curtains into one set and the other 6 into another. He made 50 loops along the edge of the end curtain in the first set, and 50 loops along the edge of the corresponding curtain in the second set. He also made 50 bronze clasps to join the tent together as a unit. Additionally, he made for the tent a covering of ram skins dyed red, and over that a covering of fine leather. Next, he constructed upright frames of acacia wood for the tabernacle. Each frame was 10 cubits long and a cubit and a half wide. 2 tenons were connected to each other for each frame. He made all the frames of the tabernacle in this way. He constructed 20 frames for the south side of the tabernacle, with 40 silver bases to put under the 20 frames, 2 bases for each frame, 1 under each tenon. For the second side of the tabernacle, the north side, he made 20 frames and 40 silver bases, 2 bases under each frame. He made 6 frames for the rear of the tabernacle, the west side, and 2 frames for the 2 back corners of the tabernacle, coupled together from bottom to top and fitted into a single ring. He made both corners in this way. So there were 8 frames and 16 silver bases, 2 under each frame. He also made 5 crossbars of acacia wood for the frames on one side of the tabernacle, 5 for those on the other side, and 5 for those on the rear side of the tabernacle, to the west. He made the central crossbar to run through the center of the frames, from one end to the other. And he overlaid the frames with gold and made gold rings to hold the crossbars. He also overlaid the crossbars with gold. Next, he made the veil of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely spun linen with cherubim skillfully worked into it. He also made 4 posts of acacia wood for it and overlaid them with gold, along with gold hooks. And he cast 4 silver bases for the posts. For the entrance to the tent, he made a curtain embroidered with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely spun linen, together with 5 posts and their hooks. He overlaid the tops of the posts and their bands with gold, and their 5 bases were bronze. Exodus 37. Bezalel went on to construct the ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, a cubit and a half wide, and a cubit and a half high. He overlaid it with pure gold, both inside and out, and made a gold molding around it. And he cast 4 gold rings for its 4 feet, 2 rings on one side and 2 on the other. Then he made poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. He inserted the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark in order to carry it. He constructed a mercy seat of pure gold, 2.5 cubits long and a cubit and a half wide. He made 2 cherubim of hammered gold at the ends of the mercy seat, 1 cherub on one end and one on the other, all made from one piece of gold. And the cherubim had wings that spread upward, overshadowing the mercy seat. The cherubim faced each other, looking toward the mercy seat. He also made the table of acacia wood, 2 cubits long, a cubit wide, and a cubit and a half high. He overlaid it with pure gold and made a gold molding around it. And he made a rim around it a handbreadth wide and put a gold molding on the rim. He cast 4 gold rings for the table and fastened them to the 4 corners at its 4 legs. The rings were placed close to the rim to serve as holders for the poles used to carry the table. He made the poles of acacia wood for carrying the table and overlaid them with gold. He also made the utensils for the table out of pure gold, its plates and dishes, as well as its bowls and pitchers for pouring drink offerings. Then he made the lampstand out of pure hammered gold, all of one piece, its base and shaft, its cups, and its buds and petals. 6 branches extended from the sides, 3 on one side and 3 on the other. There were 3 cups shaped like almond blossoms on the first branch, each with buds and petals, 3 on the next branch, and the same for all 6 branches that extended from the lampstand. And on the lampstand were 4 cups shaped like almond blossoms with buds and petals. A bud was under the first pair of branches that extended from the lampstand, a bud under the second pair, and a bud under the third pair. The buds and branches were all of one piece with the lampstand, hammered out of pure gold. He also made its 7 lamps, its wick trimmers, and trays of pure gold. He made the lampstand and all its utensils from a talent of pure gold. He made the altar of incense out of acacia wood. It was square, a cubit long, a cubit wide, and 2 cubits high. Its horns were of one piece, and he overlaid with pure gold the top and all the sides and horns. Then he made a molding of gold around it. He made 2 gold rings below the molding on opposite sides to hold the poles used to carry it. And he made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. He also made the sacred anointing oil and the pure, fragrant incense, the work of a perfumer. Exodus 38. Bezalel constructed the altar of burnt offering from acacia wood. It was square, 5 cubits long, 5 cubits wide, and 3 cubits high. He made a horn at each of its 4 corners, so that the horns and altar were of one piece, and he overlaid the altar with bronze. He made all the altar's utensils of bronze, its pots, shovels, sprinkling bowls, meat forks, and fire pans. He made a grate of bronze mesh for the altar under its ledge, halfway up from the bottom. At the 4 corners of the bronze grate, he cast 4 rings as holders for the poles, and he made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with bronze. Then he inserted the poles into the rings on the sides of the altar for carrying it. He made the altar with boards so that it was hollow. Next, he made the bronze basin and its stand from the mirrors of the women who served at the entrance to the tent of meeting. Then he constructed the courtyard. The south side of the courtyard was 100 cubits long and had curtains of finely spun linen with 20 posts and 20 bronze bases, and with silver hooks and bands on the posts. The north side was also 100 cubits long, with 20 posts and 20 bronze bases. The hooks and bands of the posts were silver. The west side was 50 cubits long and had curtains, with 10 posts and 10 bases. The hooks and bands of the posts were silver, and the east side, toward the sunrise, was also 50 cubits long. The curtains on one side of the entrance were 15 cubits long, with 3 posts and 3 bases. And the curtains on the other side were also 15 cubits long, with 3 posts and 3 bases as well. All the curtains around the courtyard were made of finely spun linen. The bases for the posts were bronze, the hooks and bands were silver, and the plating for the tops of the posts was silver. So all the posts of the courtyard were banded with silver. The curtain for the entrance to the courtyard was embroidered with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely spun linen. It was 20 cubits long and, like the curtains of the courtyard, 5 cubits high, with 4 posts and 4 bronze bases. Their hooks were silver as well as the bands and the plating of their tops. All the tent pegs for the tabernacle and for the surrounding courtyard were bronze. This is the inventory for the tabernacle of the testimony, as recorded at Moses' command by the Levites under the direction of Ithamar son of Aaron the priest. Bezalel son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made everything that the Lord had commanded Moses. With him was Oholiab son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver, designer, and embroiderer in blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and fine linen. All the gold from the wave offering used for the work on the sanctuary totaled 29 talents and 730 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. The silver from those numbered among the congregation totaled 100 talents and 1,775 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. A beke per person, that is, half a shekel, according to the sanctuary shekel, from everyone 20 years of age or older who had crossed over to be numbered, a total of 603,550 men. The 100 talents of silver were used to cast the bases of the sanctuary and the bases of the veil, 100 bases from the 100 talents, 1 talent per base. With the 1,775 shekels of silver, he made the hooks for the posts, overlaid their tops, and supplied bands for them. The bronze from the wave offering totaled 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. He used it to make the bases for the entrance to the tent of meeting, the bronze altar and its bronze grating, all the utensils for the altar, the bases for the surrounding courtyard and its gate, and all the tent pegs for the tabernacle and its surrounding courtyard. Exodus 39. From the blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, they made specially woven garments for ministry in the sanctuary, as well as the holy garments for Aaron, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Bezalel made the ephod of finely spun linen embroidered with gold and with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn. They hammered out thin sheets of gold and cut threads from them to interweave with the blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and fine linen, the work of a skilled craftsman. They made shoulder pieces for the ephod, which were attached at 2 of its corners, so it could be fastened. And the skillfully woven waistband of the ephod was of one piece with the ephod, of the same workmanship, with gold, with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and with finely spun linen, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. They mounted the onyx stones in gold filigree settings, engraved like a seal with the names of the sons of Israel. Then they fastened them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod as memorial stones for the sons of Israel, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He made the breastpiece with the same workmanship as the ephod, with gold, with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and with finely spun linen. It was square when folded over double, a span long and a span wide. And they mounted on it 4 rows of gemstones. The first row had a ruby, a topaz, and an emerald. The second row had a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. The third row had a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row had a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. These stones were mounted in gold filigree settings. The 12 stones corresponded to the names of the sons of Israel. Each stone was engraved like a seal with the name of one of the 12 tribes. For the breastpiece, they made braided chains like cords of pure gold. They also made 2 gold filigree settings and 2 gold rings, and fastened the 2 rings to the 2 corners of the breastpiece. Then they fastened the 2 gold chains to the 2 gold rings at the corners of the breastpiece, and they fastened the other ends of the 2 chains to the 2 filigree settings, attaching them to the shoulder pieces of the ephod at the front. They made 2 more gold rings and attached them to the other 2 corners of the breastpiece, on the inside edge next to the ephod. They made 2 additional gold rings and attached them to the bottom of the 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod, on its front, near the seam just above its woven waistband. Then they tied the rings of the breastpiece to the rings of the ephod with a cord of blue yarn, so that the breastpiece was above the waistband of the ephod and would not swing out from the ephod, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. They made the robe of the ephod entirely of blue cloth, the work of a weaver, with an opening in the center of the robe like that of a garment, with a collar around the opening so that it would not tear. They made pomegranates of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely spun linen on the lower hem of the robe. They also made bells of pure gold and attached them around the hem between the pomegranates alternating the bells and pomegranates around the lower hem of the robe to be worn for ministry, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. For Aaron and his sons they made tunics of fine linen, the work of a weaver, as well as the turban of fine linen, the ornate headbands and undergarments of finely spun linen, and the sash of finely spun linen, embroidered with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. They also made the plate of the holy crown of pure gold, and they engraved on it, like an inscription on a seal, "Holy to the Lord." Then they fastened to it a blue cord to mount it on the turban, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. So all the work for the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, was completed. The Israelites did everything just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then they brought the tabernacle to Moses, the tent with all its furnishings, its clasps, its frames, its crossbars, and its posts and bases, the covering of ram skins dyed red, the covering of fine leather, and the veil of the covering, the ark of the testimony with its poles and the mercy seat, the table with all its utensils and the bread of the presence, the pure gold lampstand with its row of lamps and all its utensils, as well as the oil for the light, the gold altar, the anointing oil, the fragrant incense, and the curtain for the entrance to the tent, the bronze altar with its bronze grating, its poles and all its utensils, the basin with its stand, the curtains of the courtyard with its posts and bases, the curtain for the gate of the courtyard, its ropes and tent pegs, and all the equipment for the service of the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, and the woven garments for ministering in the sanctuary, both the holy garments for Aaron the priest and the garments for his sons to serve as priests. The Israelites had done all the work just as the Lord had commanded Moses. And Moses inspected all the work and saw that they had accomplished it just as the Lord had commanded. So Moses blessed them. Exodus 40. Then the Lord said to Moses, "On the first day of the first month you are to set up the tabernacle, the tent of meeting. Put the ark of the testimony in it and screen off the ark with the veil. Then bring in the table and set out its arrangement. Bring in the lampstand as well and set up its lamps. Place the gold altar of incense in front of the ark of the testimony and hang the curtain at the entrance to the tabernacle. Place the altar of burnt offering in front of the entrance to the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, and place the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar and put water in it. Set up the surrounding courtyard and hang the curtain for the entrance to the courtyard. Take the anointing oil and anoint the tabernacle and everything in it. Consecrate it along with all its furnishings, and it shall be holy. Anoint the altar of burnt offering and all its utensils. Consecrate the altar, and it shall be most holy. Anoint the basin and its stand, and consecrate them. Then bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance to the tent of meeting, and wash them with water. And you are to clothe Aaron with the holy garments, anoint him, and consecrate him, so that he may serve me as a priest. Bring his sons forward and clothe them with tunics. Anoint them just as you anointed their father, so that they may also serve me as priests. Their anointing will qualify them for a permanent priesthood throughout their generations." Moses did everything just as the Lord had commanded him. So the tabernacle was set up on the first day of the first month of the second year. When Moses set up the tabernacle, he laid its bases, positioned its frames, inserted its crossbars, and set up its posts. Then he spread the tent over the tabernacle and put the covering over the tent, just as the Lord had commanded him. Moses took the testimony and placed it in the ark, attaching the poles to the ark, and he set the mercy seat atop the ark. Then he brought the ark into the tabernacle, put up the veil for the screen, and shielded off the ark of the testimony, just as the Lord had commanded him. Moses placed the table in the tent of meeting on the north side of the tabernacle, outside the veil. He arranged the bread on it before the Lord, just as the Lord had commanded him. He also placed the lampstand in the tent of meeting opposite the table on the south side of the tabernacle, and set up the lamps before the Lord, just as the Lord had commanded him. Moses placed the gold altar in the tent of meeting in front of the veil, and he burned fragrant incense on it, just as the Lord had commanded him. Then he put up the curtain at the entrance to the tabernacle. He placed the altar of burnt offering near the entrance to the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, and offered on it the burnt offering and the grain offering, just as the Lord had commanded him. He placed the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar and put water in it for washing. And from it Moses, Aaron, and his sons washed their hands and feet. They washed whenever they entered the tent of meeting or approached the altar, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. And Moses set up the courtyard around the tabernacle and the altar, and he hung the curtain for the entrance to the courtyard. So Moses finished the work. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Moses was unable to enter the tent of meeting because the cloud had settled on it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Whenever the cloud was lifted from above the tabernacle, the Israelites would set out through all the stages of their journey. If the cloud was not lifted, they would not set out until the day it was taken up. For the cloud of the Lord was over the tabernacle by day, and fire was in the cloud by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel through all their journeys. And with that, we bring today's reading to a close. May these sacred words dwell richly in your heart and guide your path in wisdom and truth. Until we meet again to continue our journey through the Holy Scriptures, may the Lord bless you and keep you. Go in His peace.